So now we're going to do a bit of a theme switch, moving away from thinking about doing more with less with collaborative apps and shifting to talk about Viva and the employee experience that Viva is really all about. So Viva, probably one of the hottest topics to come through with Microsoft in the last several years. I'm sure many of you have heard of it, and many of you have also probably implemented components of Viva in your own digital workspaces. But today we're going to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about how we can do more with less with Viva and how we can get the most value out of it for our frontline and information workers. All right, let's get started. So Microsoft Viva is Microsoft's employee experience platform, really born out of this consideration of the worth it equation. What makes it worth it for employees to work at an organization, to contribute productive work to that organization, and to be engaged there as well? So in Microsoft's research and studying of this worth it equation, they've broken down the employee experience into 4 key pillars: connection, insight, purpose, and growth. So we'll take a moment here to just break down each and every one of them. Starting with connection, we all know as employees that it is really important for each of us to feel connected to our work, to our colleagues, to a community at work, but then not only that, to feel connected to the vision, the wider goals and vision of the organization. So with connection, we really want to bring that element in so that we can communicate effectively with our workforce and help them feel a part of what we're doing at any organization. With insight, they found that 75% of employees and actually even 80% of managers felt that their company didn't solicit feedback often enough. So especially, as Marcus was talking about this hybrid work environment that we're, many of us at least, a part of today, we need to make sure that we're able to make employees feel heard and seen, but then also get our own insight into the working habits of our teams today. With purpose, again, as employees, it's important to feel that our day-to-day work is going into and contributing to the wider goals of the organization. So if we have found that 81% of employees feel that it's important that their managers help them prioritize their workload, what this means is that people managers and team leaders really need to put more of an emphasis on helping each individual in a team feel that they are contributing to that greater mission and that their daily work does so as well. And then lastly, with growth, 76% of employees say that they would stay at their company longer if they felt that they had learning and development support. So again, when we're thinking about employee engagement and employee experience, growth and development opportunities are a huge reason for people to be productive, engaged, and to stay at their companies. And so we need to help them feel that they can really take their learning into their own hands and that we've got an infrastructure to help support them in this. And so really, out of that, Microsoft Viva was born. And if we feel like we can move the needle on these 4 various pillars of engagement, there's a whole load of benefits that could come with this, both in terms of productivity, but also in terms of financials. But there's a bit of a gap here today. So today, only 15% of global employees say that they feel engaged at work. We want to up that number because highly engaged employees are 12 times more likely to stay at their organizations. And organizations that do have an engaged workforce actually have 23% greater profitability. So there's huge benefits to be reaped from having an engaged workforce. And we really need to help folks feel more engaged and more a part of that employee experience. And cue Microsoft Viva. So Viva is really there to bridge that gap and to help people feel more engaged and a part of that employee experience. They're looking to use technology through Viva to bring together these various pillars of employee experience and engagement. So for example, helping share the purpose and overall alignment of an organization through things like communications and culture building, making knowledge and expertise more accessible for everyone throughout the business, and giving people opportunities to have learning and development be more of a part of their everyday work. And then lastly, helping people feel seen and heard with insights and helping people feel also that they're supported at work in their own well-being and that we want them all to succeed as a whole. So with that, that's a little bit of the why around Microsoft Viva, and hopefully those topics are resonating with all of you. Now let's shift from the why to the what. What is Microsoft Viva? In actuality, Microsoft Viva is a collection of apps, also known as modules, that are all connected together and surfaced to our employees in Microsoft Teams. And again, same as with the collaborative apps being in Microsoft Teams, it's important to bring these digital tools into the flow of work and help people, prevent that context switching that I was talking about earlier that has that time, psychological, and financial toll. Keeping it all in Microsoft Teams helps people engage with it even more and feel more at ease with their own digital platforms. I won't spend time today, unfortunately, walking through each and every one of these different apps and modules that make up Microsoft Viva, but you'll be able to see some of them in action with our day in the life demo here shortly. I do want to make a few specific call outs though. So out of the applications that are shown here on this slide, a couple of them are not yet what we call GA, or generally available. If we see down in the lower left, Viva Amplify is currently in private preview, and Viva Amplify is really going to work alongside things like your SharePoint Online Intranet, or perhaps your business social platform in Microsoft 365 to centralize communications management in one place in Microsoft Teams. And Viva Amplify is set to become generally available this summer or fall. Similarly, Viva Pulse is also going to be generally available later this year, and Pulse is really oriented around getting the pulse, if you will, on an organization. So getting those kind of frequent, regular bits of feedback from your teams to help give leaders an indication of how their teams and the entire workforce is doing. So those both are going to be generally available later this year. And on a separate note, we've got this module here, Viva Sales. This is kind of in a different wheelhouse of its own in that Viva Sales is a module that is specific for a particular type of role within an organization. It's destined for salespeople, and it comes along with its separate licensing and kind of a whole separate way of usage, but it is still brought into Microsoft Teams, again, to round out that Viva Suite experience in Teams. So alongside Viva Sales and talking about separate licensing, I do also want to mention that not all of the apps that you see on this slide are available with your typical Microsoft Enterprise or Frontline licenses. But as today's theme is do more with less, we do really want to focus and highlight those Viva apps that are a part of your Enterprise and Frontline licenses and are included in that experience right now at no extra cost. And those applications are Viva Connections, first and foremost up at the top. Viva Connections, bringing in your SharePoint Online Intranet into the Microsoft Teams experience, both on desktop and on mobile, just helping people stay connected to the key information, tools, and news that they need. We've got Viva Engage as well, formerly known as Yammer. This is really your business social platform for community and culture building. We've got Viva Insights as well. Insights is there to really give you a look into how you are working as an individual with the seated functionality and helping you examine how you can better utilize your time and make your work more efficient, all while staying generally more balanced in the digital employee experience. And lastly, we've got Viva Learning here. And with Viva Learning, everyone, even in the seated basic elements of Viva, has access to over 150 different courses in LinkedIn Learning and from Microsoft to help folks upskill and share that knowledge with their teams more broadly. So even without paying extra cost at this time, you have access to all of these great apps in Viva and in Microsoft Teams. And there really is so much value to be gotten from these different applications.